Okay, it's now recording. And thank you both for coming on here, Mr. Brandon and Elijah. We'll start with Mr. Brandon. So tell me a little bit about yourself, what you do, where you were born and raised, where you're from, everything like that.
Yes, sir. I'm originally from Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay.
Pretty much not born, but raised there. I was born in Rockledge, which is in Brevard County, but I was pretty much raised in the Jacksonville area. Spent most of my childhood there and ended up graduating high school and enrolling in UF and ended up graduating from UF and started a family here in the Gainesville, Ocala area. So we've been here since that time.
Okay.
As far as my career, my profession, I'm a teacher. I work with the Marion County School Board. I work with actually young men, anywhere from 14 to 19 young men who have been committed by the Department of Juvenile Justice to a DJJ commitment program. And young men from all over the state that come to this program in Ocala, called Ocala Center for Success and Independence. So I'm housed there by the school district. And so that's the population that I work with and have worked with for the last 25 plus years.
Wow.
I've always been embracing that population and working with young people who've made mistakes, who've been counted out, whether it be by family or just society in general, just helping motivate them and get them to a place where they need to be, that they can be productive citizens. So I'm very passionate about working with that particular population. So I've been with the school system in Marion County the last probably 3 years. And over the course of my career, I've worked with different agencies, departments, Department of Juvenile Justice, Upward Bound, Job Corps, different entities, but all with the goal of motivating young people to be better citizens.
That's amazing. That is. That's
Thank you.
really awesome. Has that always been the career of your choice, or was there something that you wanted to do beforehand, or was there like a?
Yes, pretty much. I had the opportunity to do an internship when I was in college. I was a PR major. Had no idea I would go into this area or this profession, but I did an internship with an organization called Association of Marine Institutes, and which is now called AMI Kids. But they had a program in Micanopy, which is right outside of Gainesville. I did an internship there my junior year, and it totally changed my life to work with those young people and really see that there was such a great need. And so ever since then, man, I've been working with this population. Society calls them at risk. I call them at promise, because a lot of these young people have never been exposed to anything outside of their community or their neighborhood. And so, they don't know what's all out there. Anything can cause that light bulb to go on, and a particular experience that'll just change their life, their trajectory forever. So that's how I got involved and exposed to this work that I do.
Okay. Wow, that's really amazing. So what made you, or what do you think made you and Brandon choose Game Speed Elite?
Oh, Elijah.
I'm sorry, you.
No problem. No problem.
Mixing up the names here.
I think from young ages, from probably 8 to 13, 14, we had been with some local organizations in the Gainesville area that had some things to desire. In particular, I know myself, I was looking for structure and more discipline coming from a coach. And I think Coach Dan checked all of those boxes. He was highly recommended by people that, you know, I was close to and respected their opinions. And so, of course, having known of Dan, not necessarily personally, but we were at UF the same time too. I came in 92 and I think Dan graduated in 94. So I knew of him and some of his exploits and great things that he had done. And so it was just kind of a match made in heaven. Once I got an opportunity to introduce him to Elijah, and I think they clicked, and you know, it just everything we desired. I think he was able to provide in terms of what we were looking for in a travel team and just a culture in general.
Okay. So what personal growths have you seen yourself in Elijah since he started with Game Speed? So like what personal growths or maturing have you
Yes.
personally seen from Elijah?
Yes, I think first and foremost, in the area of confidence, I think he and Dan have a special relationship, and he's gotten to know him and feel secure, you know, around Dan and what he has to offer him personally. And so while Dan challenges Elijah as well as the other young men, um, he instills in them that confidence that he wants them to have. And so Elijah has, I think, grown in leaps and bounds in that area. In leadership, you know, Elijah's I think, a natural born leader, but I think Dan has kind of brought him out in terms of being a vocal leader on the court. That's been a huge difference, in the area that I think he's grown in. And just in terms of knowledge of the game, you know, Elijah already had a kind of a high IQ. He's a student of the game, you know, and Dan is that way too. So they think alike, and so they've really connected in that area. And so it's really, I think, just further enhanced, you know, kind of the insight and things that he kind of already had when it comes to studying the game.
Okay.
So those are some areas he's definitely grown in.
Okay. So as Elijah continues throughout his career and throughout adulthood, what advice would you give him as he continues to accomplish his goals and dreams?
Well, I think first and foremost is to you know, seek God first for direction. You know, he's been raised you know, in the faith, fearing and reverencing God, and so, you know, we're a family of faith, and so first and foremost to seek Him for direction. But you know, in terms of just establishing a vision for himself, you know, the word tells us where there's no vision, people perish. And so, you know, I'm always talking to Elijah about establishing that vision, making it plain, writing down his goals. And from that, what are the steps to reach those goals? You know, breaking it down in short term, midterm, and long term. And so always just putting things in a particular perspective that he can be able to go back and look, do a self-assessment as he's going along. Just keeping those things in his forefront in terms of his goals. And one of the most important things I stress to my son is, you know, your environment is everything. Mm-hmm. Those who you surround yourself with are going to either make you or break you. And so if your inner circle does not challenge you, then there's a problem. You need to change your circle. And so, you know, always just being sure who's around, you know, taking time to really understand that, you know, who you're around is everything. You got to be like-minded, you know, have the same type of goals and aspirations. And, you know, he's been blessed. I think he has some unbelievable relationships with young people from school and just that he's met, you know, over the years in the community that he's really bonded with and like-minded. So it's just been great to see the maturation process.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. I love that. That's awesome. So was there any specific college or career path that you really wanted Elijah to follow? Or were you more so, pick what you love as long as you can make something out of it?
Yeah, my wife and I, we've always been huge about just exposing them to opportunities, whether it be sports, different clubs or organizations, different career fields. We've always exposed our kids. He has two older sisters that are, one just graduated from college in 21, and my middle girl, she's graduating here in May as well from Duke. So
Wow.
um, we've always just believed in exposing them and letting them see, what draws their interest. We're just big on exposure. So no, nothing really I ever, you know, specifically wanted him to endeavor in, but just, to have an open mind, you
Okay.
know, and from there, he could pick his path or pick his course. And so that's been our our thought process, as parents.
Okay. Okay. All right, Mr. Brandon, I have one more question for you, and then we'll move on to Elijah. And then after Elijah, I have questions for both of you. So what would you say the hardest part about raising children or just children in general in your era that you did? What would you say the hardest part about it was?
I would say just the pull, the strong pull now of the media and of social media. Um, as a parent, you have to be very diligent um, in terms of being able to strike down any ideologies or things that try to skew our kids' thought process and make them, want to embrace things that aren't necessarily reality. Um, and so you just have to be very in tune to your children these days and having those open and honest conversations to see where their thought process is, just in general about things that are going on in everyday life. Um, it's just amazing the things that, in terms of social media, we didn't have that to deal with when I was coming up, and so now these young people are always, comparing themselves to uh, a figure, something that may not even be real. And I share this example all the time with especially my students. You have a lot of students who try and emulate rap artists or these celebrities that have a job to do. They're selling records or they're selling movies or anything like that. And so if they don't have the right mindset, they can be fooled in thinking that that's reality and you're trying to emulate something that's not even real.
Right.
And so if you don't have those type of conversations, with your son or your daughter, they can be in for, a world of circles, running around in circles. And so I think that's the biggest challenge, facing parents today, getting them from in front of the TV or in front of the video games and those type of things where they're inundated with false things, false pictures or things that necessarily are reality. And so being able to, to have those tough conversations as a parent is crucial today. You better have them or you may not know who's living in your own house.
Right.
Yeah. So just the trying to counterbalance that the pool of just the music industry, social media, all these things is very, very challenging for today's parent.
Right. Okay. Okay. Wow, that's actually really eye-opening. Really is. So, all right, now Elijah, let's move on to you. First and foremost, hello. And so we know your name's Elijah. So what grade are you
I'm a senior.
in high school?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what school do you go to?
I go to PK Young Developmental Research School in Gainesville.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any plans for college? Like, what are your plans for college? Like, what college do you want to go to? And is that your first choice, or anything like that?
Choice on college is still up in the air, but I know I want to go to major for sports management and, do my 4 years and hopefully be able to play athletics as well.
That's
while
awesome.
doing it. Yes, sir.
So what are your academic and athletic goals for college?
For college, academic, well, graduate with your degree, get through, want to make sure I stay over a 3.7 GPA.
Wow.
And then, for athletics, hopefully be able to get on, be able to impact the team in any way I can and hopefully win some championships while doing it.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
It really is. So have you ever had any problem juggling sports and schoolwork?
Actually, no. Well, when I was younger, probably maybe because I was kind of getting used to it, getting used to the speed of having to do schoolwork, then go to practice and everything. But as I started to grow up, I got a study plan, so I've been able to plan out my days, kind of seeing, just juggle everything and put them in the right positions where I'll be able to get my homework done, go to practice, come back home, eat, do homework, whatever I got left over, and go to sleep. Stay on a good schedule to make sure I don't get behind or anything.
Right. Time management.
Yes, sir. Time management.
Awesome. That's amazing. So when was your first year with Game Speed Elite?
My 10th grade year, started playing. I got told by one of my teammates, his dad was a coach at Florida, and he told us about Coach Dan. So he told me to go try him out, and I went. And from right there, I could tell me and Coach Dan were gonna have a good connection.
Mhm.
He wanted to push me to be better right in the tryouts, like not even really knowing me. He just pushed me to be the best, and from there, I just kind of connected with him, and I've been pulling from his knowledge, like he said, just trying to learn everything I can, grasp it, and add it to my bag and add it to my game.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. So what's your favorite memory with them?
When gotta be Coach Dan on the sideline. Coach Dan is so funny. He doesn't try to, but his facial expressions are so funny. I love going just to watch. Like when we're on the sideline, Coach Dan somebody might mess up, and he'll have like the funniest facial expression. And you're in the game, so you gotta stay serious. But after the game, I always get on him about it. I love joking with Coach Dan. That's like me and him always joke around with each other.
Have you ever had to do one of his 5:30 in the morning runs?
No, I haven't had to do it. Like me, no. I've been with him on doing one, but not like getting in trouble or anything. I haven't had to do but yeah.
Well, I don't know what happened here. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's your favorite subject in school? What would you say is your favorite subject?
Math, definitely math.
Math. Okay.
Because there's always one answer. There's an answer to it. So, it isn't all no, maybe so. You got one specific answer for each problem. So I don't got to be doing too much. Yeah.
Right. Right. Okay. Now, if there was somebody that was interested in Game Speed Elite, such as yourself, you had a friend come to you and say, like, I really think you should check this place out. If somebody came to you and they said, I'm thinking about joining, but I'm not sold yet, how would you convince them to join Game Speed Elite?
Well, first I'm telling you, you're gonna get top tier coaches. You're gonna be treated very well there. They're gonna push you to a point where you just want to keep getting better and better each and every day. The treatment there is great. The structure is awesome. They make sure they communicate with everybody. Like you're not gonna have some people not knowing where to go and everything. And then it's the family type of culture there. Everybody's like a family there. Once you go and you're new, you can make a brother or a friend in like 1 hour, 2 hours playing on that court or
Mhm.
something. So it's just a family there. That's the best thing about Gaines Speed. I've made a lot of friends, lifelong friends I'll be able to have. So,
Awesome.
so
Awesome. So who would you say is your biggest influence?
my biggest influence, my dad, probably my dad. Just seeing everything he does for me and my sisters and my mom, all the sacrifices, he just makes me want to just always push to be better each and every day. He just pushes me to be a better man, young man. So seeing everything he's gone through, he's been one of my best friends since I was young. Well, my built-in best friend, but he's
Right.
pushed me. Yeah, sometimes it's hard and it's hard love, but it's all for the better. He wants me to be the best I can be. So
Yeah. We wouldn't be anywhere without our parents. I wouldn't be
yeah,
anywhere without my father.
yeah,
I grew up in a single household. I'm one of six.
yes,
And
sir.
my father, he raised me, my little brother, and my older sisters or my older siblings by himself. My mom died when I was a little kid. So he took in the role, took us all, so he's the reason I keep going. He
Yeah,
pushes me to do better every day. That's what I learned. It's a father's role,
yeah,
push your kids to be great, best they can.
yes, sir.
Yeah. So, name 3 people alive or dead that you would love to meet and why.
Kevin Hart, he's hilarious. Nice. I have a funny side, so I just kind of want to see that comedic view, see what he does. Definitely LeBron. I love his work ethic. Just seeing what he does every year to stay in the best shape to be able to play at 100% each and every game. I just love watching him play. And then Kobe, them also, they both just have very high work ethics. Even Kevin Hart has a very high work ethic. Even though he's hilarious at the same time, he has a great work ethic. Because
Right.
without his work ethic, he wouldn't be where he is right now. So
Right.
he's always pushing to be the
Right.
best he can.
So what's your favorite funny or what's your favorite or funniest family memory?
Family memory. Playing, going outside and having water balloon wars with the family. Those are the best moments. That's just memories. You're never gonna get something like that again, especially when everybody gets older. So I gotta do it when we're all young.
Right. Right.
Meeting everybody, it's so fun. It's just good to make memories. And they had grandparents there. Of course, they weren't able to do as much, but it was just good to see them putting a smile on their face. So that's the best part about it. Just making them smile is always my being the
That's
best
awesome.
thing for me. Is there.
How about you, Mr. Brandon? What's your favorite or funniest family memory?
Um, you know, Kobe, I'm big on family. Um, you know, pretty much being raised, in a single parent, household like yourself. My mom pretty much raised me, and so any quality time that I have with my family, I just, I'm tickled. I embrace it. Particularly now, with over the last couple of years with my girls, been in college and not being around them, as often. So just any time that we can be together, doesn't have to be some huge thing, but if it's just watching a movie together, just eating dinner, talking, laughing, that means everything to me. So it doesn't take a whole lot for me. I just understand, particularly in this day and time, there's a lot of broken families, and so I feel so blessed and grateful to have my wife and my kids, and we love each other and just have great relationships. So I just treasure that and try to allow for us to get together as much as possible. Because life is short. No day is promised to any of us, and so I just treasure every minute, every hour that we can be together.
Okay. Okay. That's awesome. I'm the exact same way. With my siblings, my dad, I'm the exact same way. We love
Yes.
spending time together. We always
Yeah.
used to have family days on Sundays. We would just meet up and just do, anything, dinner, just hang out. And, now I'm an uncle. I have between, my 2 oldest siblings, I have 6 nephews and nieces. So it's like, now I'm just the fun uncle to them.
Oh yeah, that's awesome, awesome.
Yeah,
And you got a lot of love to share with them as well.
absolutely. Absolutely. So now so actually I want to ask you, Mr. Brandon, real quick.
Mhm.
Name 3 people alive or dead that you would love to meet and why.
Oh gosh. Um, I would say first and foremost, Martin Luther King, um, just for the fact that he was able to bring people together from all walks of life, from different denominations, different faiths, to be able to overcome the greatest obstacle in the world of hate. And just to have the opportunity to conversate with him and see how he was able to keep the drive and keep the motivation in the midst of everything that he was facing, both personally and as a people. I think it would be number one on my list. Ray Charles, um, unbelievable human being to have the loss of sight, a major disability, but to still achieve great exploits and impact, the world through his gift of music. It's just unbelievable. So to be able to have a conversation with him, I think would be just great. Outside of that, we say Dion. Denzel, Denzel Washington, just his greatness that he's been able to display over decades now, to stay relevant, in Hollywood, which is can be very difficult and biased in some facets to be successful, and to remain relevant and to remain one of the top actors, world renowned in the world for that long period of time is awesome, pretty awesome. So yeah, I'd love to have a conversation with him as well.
Okay. Okay. That's a solid list for both of
Yeah,
you, really.
yeah.
It really is. It's funny, the first set of parent and child that I interviewed, I believe it was Miss Natalia and Jancy. He had the
Mhm.
exact same list as you did, Elijah. Exact same list. So funny. Okay, now, so here's a couple questions for both of you. So what would you guys say that your favorite movie is?
Go ahead.
Mine is The Negotiator, old Samuel L. Jackson movie. Very just action packed, man, and kept you on your toes in terms of what was going to happen next. That's one of my favorites.
Okay.
Elijah.
Any Marvel movie, I can't get it like one. Any Marvel movie,
Okay.
not the new ones, like all the OG ones, like the old ones. Any one of those, because each one of them have like a deep meaning to it, where they
Right.
all do,
Right.
and how they all could come together and work out for one cause to save the world. That's what I like, and
That's
all
awesome.
different, and all the different, all from different walks, like he said.
Yeah. Okay. Now, what's the first thing you guys do when you wake up in the morning and last thing you do before you go to bed?
First thing is for us is praying and reading a devotional to get our day started. For me, anyway. And at the end of the day, just sharing love, telling each other we love each other. Because again, no day is promised, so you don't take it for granted. Make sure your loved ones know you love them.
Yeah. When I wake up, brush my teeth and everything, I stretch first each morning, and then I read my devotional, get dressed and head to school. And then, at nighttime I always pray before I go to sleep, thanking him for allowing me to walk on earth another day.
Mhm. Yeah, that's awesome. Now, Mr. Brandon, I have two more questions for you, and then
Mhm.
then we could wrap it up. So first, if there was a parent that came to you and said, I'm really interested in signing my kid up for Game Speed Elite, but I'm not 100% sure," what would you give them? What advice could you give them that'd be like, okay, this is why you should? It's definitely, what would you say?
I think I would say first and foremost, Coach Dan is a father, and that means I know it meant a lot to me, to be able to share and talk with my son as a father, because there's certain things that I believe that you can only relate to as far as what a young person may be going through, um, if you don't have your own kids or haven't dealt with own similar situations or circumstances. And so first and foremost, having that father figure, he can offer, he believes in building the whole man, the whole young man. It's not about just on the court, but trying to prepare them for life in terms of discipline and structure, keeping things in the right perspective. I think Coach Dan is big on that. Um, and like we mentioned earlier, just creating a family-like culture, where everyone is respected and appreciated. That was huge for me. I can remember the first summer we traveled with the team to Atlanta. I think one of the first nights we got together, had a fellowship, ate together, but there was a portion where he asked every young man to share two or three things about themselves that the next man may not know. He also asked the parents to share some things about themselves. And so it created um, a platform where you could get to know those around you, and created that family type bond. And so that was a huge first impression for me, because not only did it teach young men or give them an exercise where they can work on presenting in front of people that they may not know, but just the importance of that family bond, knowing who is amongst you. So that made a huge impact on me. And so, those things were important for me. And I think they would be important for any parent that's looking to get, their child involved with a particular organization. The culture, I think, is what you would want.
Okay. Okay. So if you had a time machine and went back to when you were a child, what would you do differently? Or would you do anything differently?
I think for me, particularly in high school, I think I would have cherished a little bit more, kind of made the most of it, stayed in the moment. I think, like I've shared with Elijah, those high school years blow by, and you really don't. You can be in a situation where you don't really just kind of enjoy it, because it'll be over in the blink of an eye. So just kind of relishing in that experience. I don't think I did enough in high school, as far as outside of athletics. I played basketball, baseball, but getting involved in different types of activities and organizations to really make it more fulfilling, and preparing yourself to be more well-rounded. And so that's something that, I challenged, all of my kids, to get involved in different things, be open to doing something that, you may not even necessarily think you would like. But so just those would be the things I would change.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys very much for your time, and I appreciate you coming on.
All right, we thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
All right, take care of yourself.
You too.
All right.